A very good morning to you. I hope you're enjoying our journey through Proverbs as much as I am. We're in Proverbs chapter 6, looking at verses 6 to 11, which are all about work, about the work ethic, about the attitude we should have to work. And it compares, the advice is look at the ant. The ant is always busy. The ant is always getting things ready so that there's enough food for the ant hill, for the baby ants. I don't know what they call baby ants, but for the larvae, and enough to sustain them when the weather is bad and they can't go out foraging. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Without having any chief, officer, or ruler, she prepares her food in summer and gathers her sustenance in harvest. How long will you lie there, O sluggard? When will you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a vagabond, and want like an armed man. A lot to think about here, but it's about the attitude we have to work. Some people, and many people, seem to think that work is a negative thing, that we should be able to live our lives without working. And that's not the way we were meant to be. There is great fulfillment in work. Adam and Eve were given the responsibility of tilling the garden, of looking after the trees and the animals that God had put on the earth. There is a lot in our culture. There's a lot of music that says, oh, Monday to Friday is dreadful. Oh, isn't it wonderful when it's Friday and we've got the weekend coming, when we don't do anything, when we just indulge ourselves and laziness. I love this word sluggard. There's some words that are wonderful to say, aren't they? I would never say to anyone, thou sluggard. Oh, sluggard, get up. I think it's a horrible thing to say, but it's an interesting word. It just means lazy, or one who is indolent. And I had to look up indolent because it was a little bit unfamiliar to me. And the dictionary says indolent is disliking work or effort, lazy, idle. There are some people who are idle, who are lazy, who will put off doing something because they simply don't want to put the effort in. It is very easy in the natural to be lazy. Why should you do the work if someone else will do it? But God is clear. The Lord is clear. In the New Testament, Paul says, because he had the problem that a lot of people expected the Lord Jesus to come any day. And as far as they were concerned, why was there any point in putting any effort into working for a living if the Lord was going to come tomorrow and you wouldn't be able to take any of it with you anyway? And Paul had to say to them, if a man won't work, don't let him eat. And every man should provide for the members of his own household and not rely on anybody else. We are meant to work, and idleness and laziness is not a good and godly thing. And we need that work ethic. We need, when we are at work, to work the hours that we are employed for and not to shirk the time, not to get off early and take the money, pocket the money anyway. We need to be honest and upright in our work, diligent. Look at the ant. You see them marching. They all carry the leafcutter ants are fascinating. If you've ever seen them, I think there are some. I'm trying to think where we were when and they had an island on which these ants lived, and because there was water around this island, they didn't come. They weren't even behind glass or anything, but they simply marched to the tree and they cut the leaves and they marched back with their leaves and they gave the leave back, and then they marched out again. They didn't stop. They didn't stop. It's important to realize that work, it's different, of course, if we're healthy or we're elderly and unable to work for one reason or another. But time has proved to all doctors that being idle for too long after an operation or after the birth of a child is not good. People are encouraged to get up and be active as soon as possible. Being active and doing things is very important, not to be just sitting or lying and doing nothing. This is not good for us. We do get our day of rest, and that's right. We get a day when we don't work. God has built that into the plan for us, is that we should have time when we are not working. But we should not shirk our responsibilities at work. The way our attitude to our work should be different to the world's attitude to work. The world's attitude very often these days is people think everyone life owes me a living. I deserve to be looked after. I deserve to be paid. There are many people who are on benefits who could easily work. Why don't they work? Because they're a sluggard. They're lazy. They don't want to work. We should work if we can. If we can, and if it's possible for us to get work, we should work, because this is God's economy. God has given you gifts to use, and even when you're retired like I am, God has given me gifts to use for the kingdom, to use in His service, and we should use those gifts. We should not be idle. This is not good. We need to heed the warning, because if we suddenly come into poverty, it may be our own fault, because we didn't work, because we didn't put our hand. So have a read of those, have a think about it, think about the scriptures and what they teach about work and how we should work. Interesting. Every aspect of our life is covered in this wonderful manual that we have. Each of us has. What a good book it is. Teaches us so many things. Think about your attitude to work. Think about what you think. Do you think of work days, Monday to Friday, as days on which you can't serve God because you're serving an earthly master? You're working for somebody and you can't serve God. Or do you think of them as days to serve God, to be faithful in the things that He has given you to do, things He's put your hand to, being faithful, consistent, regular, and not taking sickies, not taking days off. I was shocked. A quiz program I watched recently talked about how many people in this country take a sickie regularly, and they just don't go to work. Everyone else does that. Why shouldn't I? There's some thinking to do today. I'll see you again tomorrow. God bless you. Have a great day.